Like to call to order the Powhatan County Board of Supervisors regular meeting for May 22nd, 2023. Mr. Williams, if you would help us with the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd appreciate it. Mr. Cox, if you do the invocation, I'd be grateful.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, thank you for another wonderful day in Powhatan. Give us guidance and patience tonight as we move through the people's business. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Have any requests to postpone agenda items, additions, deletions, or changes in the order of presentation? Not hearing any, we have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? County Administrator updates?
No updates this evening.
No updates. Public comment period. If you're looking to speak to the board during public comment period, I'd appreciate if you'd come down and be on one of the first two rows here in an effort to save time. There's a public hearing tonight. If you're planning on speaking on the public hearing, that can be addressed during the public hearing as to prevent double talking over both of them during both comment periods. At this point, we'll open up the public comment period. Floor is open. If you're speaking as an individual, you have 3 minutes. If you're speaking on behalf of a group, you have up to 5 minutes. Yes, sir. Name and address.
Thank you. My name is Steve Jenkins. I live at 1163 Bradbury Road. Just wanted to share a couple of comments this evening. First of all, again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come up and speak. It's really nice to live in a county where we can come up and speak and talk to our leaders. Again, just a couple of comments. Somewhere around 2008, 2009, the Board of Supervisors gave dollars to the school system to true up their healthcare plan. About around 2015, the Board of Supervisors again gave the school dollars to true up their healthcare plan, but those funds, as I understand it, were redirected at that point. In February of 23, the school board submitted their budget, and it did not include dollars to true up the healthcare plan. And to my knowledge, the school board did not make a request, yet now about $1 million is going to the school to true up healthcare plans. And just as a citizen, I have to ask myself, why do we allow the school board every 7 years or so to come back to us and dig them out? It's not like they're asking for a small amount. They're asking for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's frustrating to me that the school board puts the teachers in this position, because the teachers are the ones that are bearing these dollars when these increases come in. The county doesn't do it. The county does a great job of keeping the parity for the employees, but the school doesn't. And so I wish that there would be a way that they wouldn't be able to come back every 7 years and ask for more money, because they made decisions during those years to put more of a burden on the employees. And I just think it's on teachers. And I just think that's an unfair situation. And I just want to mention those things this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Tracy Engel. I'm a employee of Powhatan County Public Schools, and I reside in Cumberland County. I would like to thank the board for all of your support for Powhatan County Public Schools and its employees. Your recent decision to provide additional funding to bring health insurance premiums to a more affordable rate for school employees has made a tremendous difference for PCPS employees. I am grateful for your leadership, as well as your time, research, effort, and energy that was put into making this happen. Thank you. You have truly made a difference.
Thank you, ma'am.
Terry Allison, 4308A, Three Bridge Road, Powhatan. I am the Director of Human Resources for Powhatan County Public Schools. I wanted to personally thank you for providing the funding needed to bring Powhatan County Public School employees health insurance in line with Powhatan County employees. It was the right thing to do. Over 65% of our employees live in the county, and we hope to attract more staff to live and work in Powhatan County. I received several emails from staff who said this change will make such a difference to them in the coming year. When my office is recruiting staff to come to Powhatan and they ask about health insurance coverage for their family, we cringed when we had to let them know our rates for the family plan. This reduction will not only help with retention with our current employees, but also with our recruitment for the 23-24 school year. Again, thank you for your hard work and dedication to our county and to the employees of Powhatan County Public Schools. I also have a letter that was given to me by a teacher who could not be here tonight, so I want to read that to you. This is from Mary Velferta. She lives at 1800 Judes Ferry Road. Oh, that's the school address. I want to express my deepest gratitude to you all for the role in bringing Powhatan County teacher health insurance rates into line with the rest of the county employees. Understand that you, along with Dr. Tigan, were instrumental in making this happen, and your work on our behalf in that challenging situation is truly appreciated. It means more than just the extra dollars in the paycheck, although we can absolutely use as many of those as we can get. Your determination to make sure that teachers' value to the community is acknowledged and serves as a vital morale builder. Your support and advocacy for teachers is what will allow Powhatan County Schools to continue to attract and retain highly qualified educators for which we are known. Thank you for standing up for us in this in so many ways. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We have anyone? Oh, we have no one from here.
Bill Huff, 2015 Westwood Court, District 2. What was it, about a month ago, we went over the real estate rates and we got it down to, what was it, 88 cents, I believe. You know, they were magic numbers just pulled out of a hat and there was no research or anything done to it. But yet I was on my way to an appointment the other day and I rode through the village and past the county administration building. There's a brand new Bronco sitting there with Powhatan County on it. And I'm just wondering, why does the county have a $70,000 SUV? I mean, the first time it snows here, get a dusting, everything shuts down. And, you know, y'all can continue with dropping real estate rates and, you know, doing the magic numbers. But until we look at the waste that this county spends in vehicles, and I'm sure that, you know, fuel cost of these things is outrageous. Until something is actually done, you know, the taxpayers are the ones getting railroaded here. They really are. Because there is nobody here that's taking any fiscal responsibility for the way this county is spending money. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Not seeing anyone else. Do we have anyone on Zoom?
No, sir.
Public comment period's closed. Next up, we have the consent agenda. You have a motion for that, passing a consent agenda?
So moved.
We need a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
It's on the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, go right ahead, Mr. Williams.
I'm not going to be voting for the consent agenda because on the consent agenda is a transfer to the schools, which came about as a result of last minute changes to the budget that was proposed by Mrs. Carmack at the last meeting, which preempted weeks, months of workshops, input from staff, input from the county administrator. I didn't think that that constituted good planning, good budgeting. Moreover, we are sitting now to looking at this fall, finishing the 10-year CIP plan. Because once again, the budget, the rate wasn't fully vetted in time to take into consideration what was going to happen to that 10-year CIP. So the result was you have a 1-year CIP where the remaining years will be addressed this fall. Folks, that's not good planning. It's not good budgeting. So for that reason, Mr. Chairman, I won't be voting for the consent agenda.
Thank you for your comments. Any other comments? All in favor of the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Nay.
Mr. Cox, Mr. Williams voted in nay. Motion carries 3-2.
Next, moving on to appointments, we have 4 under the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. So those are nominations made by districts 1, 2, 3, and 5. 1, 3, and 5 are new appointments. 2 is filling the remainder of a expired term, or rather a vacancy in their term. And we have 4 applications in your packet.
All righty, thank you, sir. I will make the first motion to reappoint Mr. Frank Flanagan to District 3 to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. Second. Can we do all 3 of these at one time?
Unless somebody wants an individual vote, if everybody's good with all 3 of them.
Mr. Chairman, can I would like to nominate Dr. Oliver for District 5 then.
Okay, you have a second for that? I'll second that. Anyone else?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion for Charles A. Higgins to be the District 2 representative.
Okay. Need a second for that?
I'll second.
District 1's the only one still available. Mr. Williams, did you have anybody you wanted to appoint?
Yes, the application that you have before us from Mr. Greg Davis.
Okay, I'll second that one. The, all 4 of those seem to be, no opposition. You guys all in favor of that then?
Yes.
Good. Aye. That motion passes. Those 4, you got them, Brett?
All right, and that moves us into old business. So this is ordinance 2023-05. This is a rezoning for the Trent property. And this was something that we had the public hearing at the last meeting, and it was deferred to this meeting. So staff and applicants representative are here tonight to present.
Hello, everyone. So this is our rezoning application for Miss Trent. It's at tax map number 2627 on Anderson Highway. It is approximately 0.14 miles west of Maidens Road. If approved, the applicant would like to use this parcel for a funeral home and crematory as an accessory use. And I have the applicant's representative with me today. She is under the weather, so she will not be attending.
So no comments from the applicant?
Did you have anything you want to say?
Mr. Chairman, if you and any of the members of the board supervisors have any question, I'm with the Longwood University Small Business Development Center. I've been advising this Trent for over a year.
Step up here to the microphone. Tell us who you are, sir.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm Michael Duncan. I'm with the Longwood Small Business Development Center. Ms. Trent has been a client of mine for over a year. And I'm intimately familiar with the project, having visited the site and so on. So I'm here to answer any questions. She's under the weather and watching online. So.
Okay, all right. All right. You guys want to open up, we'll open up the public comment period. And if we have questions at that point, we'll bring you back up, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So the floor is open for public comment on this public hearing. Anyone online?
No, sir.
Not seeing anyone, not hearing anyone online. We'll close the public comment period. Board
Mr. Chairman,
comments? Yes, Ms.
I'd
Cormier.
like to make a motion. I move to approve 0/O-2023-05.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we've got a second. Comments, questions, members?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Mr. Cox.
First of all, I was delighted to see that we had a proffered conceptual plan that actually moves things much further down the road. But I have a question for Mr. Lackney. We have proffer number 3, which are commerce center uses. And it lists 4 uses, none of which would ever happen. If we accept that proffer, does that mean that we're blessing all other uses?
Whether you accept that proffer or not, you're blessing all other uses. So this proffer simply says those 4 won't happen. If you say we reject those proffer, all of the 80 whatever uses are permitted other than these 4. Which I did want to ask a quick question. I didn't see the signed proffer statement in the packet. I want to make sure we had a signed proffer statement that they've signed off on these proffers. I didn't see it in the packet. I was just curious, just to make sure.
correspondence back and forth, but since Ms. Trent has been ill, I have not actually had a physical signature, but I can get it very easily.
Yeah, well, if the board, I'm not saying what they should or should, what the board should or shouldn't do, but if the board approves, I would recommend approve contingent upon receiving a signed proffer statement.
Easy to do.
And I can attest, sir, that Ms. Trent has agreed to the proffers. We went back and forth about it multiple times and she agreed to it.
Go ahead, Mr. Cox.
In the past, we've relied mainly on a proffered conceptual plan to really define what the project's going to be. I think in this case, this is pretty unique design, if you will, that really prohibits, makes it very difficult for another use to come in. But I'd like to point out that the Virginia Department of Transportation takes no exception to the request for the identified proposed use. Now, there are other uses that could possibly come in. I'm not concerned about them because of the conceptual plan. And really, it's about traffic. For instance, you can have a hotel motel. You can have a gas station. You can have a restaurant with a drive-through. You can have a pharmacy with a drive-through. These are all things that potentially change dramatically the transportation component in an area that's got some funny problems. Funny problems because starting somewhere around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the westbound traffic is pretty intense. And then we've got a mixture of school buses in the middle of all of that in the afternoon. So as we look forward beyond this one, I hope we'll do a better job of looking at the transportation component of uses and see how that fits with the actual property. But once again, the conceptual plan is a small building with a large amount of private space to preserve. Makes it unreasonable that something's going to come in that would change this dramatically. At least that's my view of it. So, Ms. Carmack's your district, but I'm going to support this.
Any other comments? All right, not hearing any. You want to change your motion to the contingent upon a signed proffer?
Yes.
Or signed?
I
proffer?
recommend received within 10 days or something.
Okay.
So if,
For
so
the
the
time.
motion, the approval is contingent upon receiving a signed proffer statement from the applicant on these 3 proffers within 10 days of tonight's meeting.
Per what the county attorney just said.
Okay.
Question.
Yes, sir, Mr. Cox.
What happens if it doesn't?
Then you-
What's the consequence of that?
Well, then the approval tonight is void. I guess technically. you can
So
vote
you'd have
again.
to, okay.
You'd have to vote again.
Right. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
tonight's approval is based on this contingency. The
Gotcha.
contingency doesn't happen in 10 days. Tonight's approval didn't happen, and you'll have to vote again.
Yep, thank you. You want to second that, Mr. McClung?
Second. Yeah.
Okay. Roll call vote.
Mr. Williams,
Aye.
Mr. McClung,
Aye.
Mr. Cox.
Aye.
Mrs. Carmack,
Aye.
Mr. Byerly.
Aye. Motion passes. That brings us to our second public comment period. Is anyone wishing to speak to the board? Now you have an opportunity. You're speaking on as an individual, you have 3 minutes. If you're speaking on behalf of a group, you have up to 5 minutes. Is there anyone online?
No, sir.
Public comment period is closed. County attorney comments,
No comments, Mr. Chair.
county administrator comments.
Yeah, just to provide some clarity on the building inspections vehicle, the Bronco. I believe we paid 28,000 for that vehicle. The Bronco, when Ford came out with it, they made 2. The Bronco Sport, which is what we got, which I think is based off of like the Ford Escape, like crossover platform, and that one's the entry level. Then there's the Bronco, which is based on like a truck platform. That's the one where you can get them for 70,000 or even more. But we have the Bronco Sport, which shares the name, looks similar, but they're 2 completely different vehicles that share virtually no architecture. And we looked at all of the options. I think Ford Maverick, Durangos, all the different things out there. We also looked at, could we do something smaller like a Ford Escape? But we, if you know our fleet, we get good mileage and use out of them. The sites and how difficult the terrain can be for building inspections. We were afraid with the low clearance of the Ford Escape that it would tear it up and break it. And again, we want to keep these things for 10, 20 years. and not destroy them. So this was, again, we were very, very conscious of the cost and looking at it. And when I saw the shiny new Bronco pull in, I kind of had the same thoughts. That looks maybe too nice, but again, it was in line with our budget, and we do a good job with getting the most out of our vehicles as we can. We've retired a few that have very high miles. Guys are driving them with issues, just limping along, but they don't want to get a new one yet. We've had our building official out there himself changing ECUs, changing batteries, changing out parts that he finds used on eBay when a shop wants thousands of dollars to do it. So we're very conscious of getting the most out of our vehicles as we can and getting the best deal for the public. That's it.
Thank you. Board comments.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir, Mr. Williams.
at the Thursday meeting of the Richmond Regional Transportation Planning Organization, VDOT came forward with a TIP amendment, TIP meaning Transportation Improvement Plan, which is a 4-year plan for obligating federal funds. The TIP amendment brings forward an exciting project to the region. Specifically, in Powhatan County on 288, we're looking at hard shoulder access to the bridge and then computerized opening and closing of lanes during peak hours. Now, this project has already received funding through the Central Virginia Transportation Authority, and it was also awarded funds through VDOT's new funds for innovative transportation projects. Now, this is something new to VDOT. It's new to the region, the state. It's an impressive project. So on my recommendation, VDOT will be doing a presentation to the policy board going forward. And I've also discussed with VDOT, and they are more than willing to come to our board and do a presentation for us and the community on the project. Again, this is something that they are proud of and we're excited about because it's in Powhatan County and it's addressing an issue very near and dear to our hearts, congestion and public safety. So, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to be asking and requesting to have this on the agenda, either the upcoming meeting or the next meeting, whichever works best, according to what we've got coming. But I think this would be something worthwhile for the community and for the board to see. And again, VDOT's more than happy to come and do this. Thank you, sir.
Excellent comments. Excellent comments. Anyone else? And to follow up off of that, I'm on the CVTA Authority Commission in Goochland. It was a very collaborative effort to put this deal together, this hard shoulder running. And I think, as Mr. Williams stated, with the electronic gate that's going to be there, it's going to make a huge positive impact in regards to the traffic flow from 7-Eleven on to 288 North in the AM. And then the next thing I'd like to briefly talk about, we got an email from the county administrator this morning that he often gives us updates and keeps us informed as to what's going on. And Brett, you do a good job of that, a very good job. He sent us a report from the Richmond Association of Realtors. And in the first quarter, the statistics that come out, I think it's wise to pay attention so that you can get facts, not mendacious propaganda. The median sales price of a home in Powhatan County in the first quarter of 2022 was $420,000. In the first quarter of 2023, it has escalated almost 6% to $445,000. That's the median. The average sales price of a home in Powhatan County in the first quarter of 2022 was $466,000. In the first quarter of 2023, it has escalated almost 8%, 7.9%. The average sales price for a home in Powhatan County, $503,633. To make sure it was a real clear understanding, the Board of Supervisors took the real estate tax rate this year down to 69 cents, from 77 to 69 cents. And since this board took office, it's lowered the real estate tax rate every year. To give you a little comparison on these numbers, Goochland, first quarter of 2022, $562,000. The first quarter of 2023, the average sales price of a home in Goochland County, $626,000. That's 11.5% increase. These numbers are pretty substantial across the board. In terms of the pricing of homes, they've gone up tremendously. The last thing I'll share with you, the active listings. In Powhatan County, the first quarter of 2022, the active listings were 33. In the first quarter of 2023, the active listings are 40. Not a lot of homes for sale. The next county up is Goochland, and they have 109 homes for sale in the first quarter of 2023. Put the math together. You think about how much the assessments go up, and then you think about what the real estate tax rate is, because they go hand in hand. You can't talk about one without talking about the other. When you see that type of escalation in the market value, unless something happens in the next 9 months, Powhatan County's doing assessments annually now. I would expect the assessments to go up. That's all I have. We're adjourned.